You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Andy podcast.
Welcome to Ride With Me, episode 152. Today is April 12th, 2026, and today's guest is my buddy Pete. I will bring him on in a bit. Guys, the hotline ain't going anywhere. 818-806-8595. Instagram, Ride With Me Podcast. TikTok, FTA_podcast. YouTube, FTA_podcast. Rumble is still there. I'm still using it. Don't forget about Spotify. You can listen on Spotify. You can listen on Apple Podcasts. You can listen on Amazon. You can listen on, I think, Camcast. You can listen to all those Spotify, all those music apps, podcast apps. But the main source is Spotify. So if you can follow me on Spotify, even if you listen on Apple, just go back to Spotify, hit that follow, and I'll be happy with that. I did recently start a Patreon. Somebody reached out to me and said, hey, I would like to donate to your show. Can you please create a Patreon? I believe the guy, because he didn't ask me for a Venmo, a Zelle, or anything like that. He asked me to create a Patreon. So I do have Patreon, Flat Tire Andy Podcast. That's the same as always. Again, my content will always be free, but that Patreon is there if you want to donate. I will appreciate that. That's amazing. Never thought about that. Again, real quick, the sponsors. Hit the road with peace of mind with SolarX. Whether you ride a motorcycle or need an SR22, SolarX can help. They offer fast, friendly, and affordable coverage. Don't let insurance stress slow you down. Call 877-736-4719 and let SolarX help you get back on the road. That it's 877-736-4719. And really quick, the intro or the recap of the podcast, since some of you don't read the descriptions. Anyways, today I talked to Pete, and we talked about how guys get criticized for sharing their feelings and, mental health or whatever. It's I guess guys' mental health is frowned upon, I guess. We talked about that a little bit. We talked about a little bit about our relationship with our mothers and how an update on how that's going. We get into a conversation about how in 2026 already there's been 176,000 suicides. It's crazy to think when the regular average is about 49,000. We're already at 46 and the year isn't even halfway through. We talk about Instagram for kids and how Instagram can be a little stressful for children and kids and teenagers, and they go and do some stuff that they're not supposed to do. Oh yes, we do talk a lot about suicide in this episode. So, what's it called? What's the word I'm supposed to use to let you guys know that? Trigger warning. There we go. So yes, we do talk about suicide in this episode. Feeling your emotions. We get in topic about feeling your emotions, and then we also talk about some episodes, some guests he had on his podcast. Oh yes, Pete versus Insider. He has a podcast. We'll share all the descriptions, all his descriptions, socials, and everything at the end of this podcast. And we talked about he talked to two people. If you go listen to Rise of the Phoenix and then listen to Holy Hag episode, there's 2 episodes. Go reach out, go listen to his podcast, and he touches on he listens. These 2 guests have a crazy story. And then the main topic, we got into a conversation about being robbed at gunpoint and pretty much the hell he went through. And I would never want to have a gun to my head or my chest, but he did it. We also get into a conversation, which is more, we had to change the feel and make it more happy and laughing and stuff like that. Pete gets into a conversation about wood chopping lady, how she feels that men should be the providers and they should chop more wood. And women should be women should stay home. So, that's a guest that he had on his podcast. We got a little bit got to turn our podcast episode from sad to getting a little laugh out of it. And that's what the podcast is all about. I don't want to make you guys cry while on my podcast. I do want to make it fun. Like, we don't always have to be sad. Again, thank you guys for listening to the Flat Tire Andy podcast. I'm going to get back on my 8 episodes before, taking another break. So I already have podcast episodes scheduled for next week and so on and so on. Again, I'm going to touch on the Patreon again. Please follow Patreon, Flat Tire Andy Podcast. And again, I am not going to charge for my podcast, but is there for you to donate if you want to. All right, on to my guest. Welcome back, Pete.
What up, Andy? Why do you look like you're gonna sell me some Bibles? Like you're gonna knock on my door, sir? Have you found Jesus today?
In a way, that's what it's about. I'm not selling you Bibles, but I will be going to church this morning. So I was like, you know what? Let me get ready to go way before I start recording because I don't want to break my own rules, bro. If we're late, we're late. I don't like to be late. So I was like, I don't know how long this podcast is going to go. So let me get ready now. So yes, I have my church attire and a tie.
For everybody at home, Andy looks like he's going to sell me a used car at this point.
I mean, I am in sales. You know what I mean? I am in sales. What's going on, man? Pete, man? How you been, man?
Oh, man. Where do we start, bro? Since the last time we talked, recently I just signed a partnership deal with an app called, it's not an app yet, but it's an an AI companion, basically. So what it is, it's called PsychPal. So the idea of PsychPal is it's like, everybody has therapy, things like that. And then, it's a companion tool to it, basically. It basically learns who you are, talks to you, learns more about you. And then, it has really interesting features. So like if you don't want to text, you can talk to it. If you don't want to talk, you can text to it, or you can actually send it images and it'll tell you how to break it down best for you to understand it the way you feel, which is kind of cool because, it's AI, but it's AI being used the right way. This past week I had an award-winning British cartoonist actually come on the show. Gemma Correll came on. She's got a new book coming out this month called Axiety Land. So we got to talk about that, got to meet her. Really nice lady and everything like that too. She's got like 1 million followers on Instagram, dude. I was like, crap, this person's talking to me. Awesome. So, but there's a lot of other interesting people coming down the line. I'm booking out to July now again, with it. And it just keeps going, man. Emails just keep coming every single day, man. I've just been swamped, but I love it, man. I love what I do.
So let's give a real quick recap to the listeners. Pete is the host of Pete versus Anxiety podcast. He was on the podcast in the past. I'm going to look it up while you talk about Pete versus Anxiety really quick.
Pete versus Anxiety is basically a mental health awareness show. I invite people to come on, invite professionals to come on. And, we should talk about mental health, different mental health, conditions, things that people deal with, people's different stories, things like that, and it's an eclectic array of people, man. And I've been doing it for about 1.5 years now. And it's just like, the emails I get, the comments people make, the people that hear the show are just like drawn to it and love the fact that it's just real, raw and honest conversation. Like I don't really edit much of it, because I want to keep it as authentic as possible, like that and things like that too. So like my whole life is on this show. Like I don't think I've ever hidden anything from anybody on this thing. And it's been great. And I've been loving doing it.
You were on episode 139 back in September 2025. September 9, 2025. And you know what the sad part about that, listeners? He still hasn't brought me on his podcast. That's crazy.
You know what? That is wild, dude. I've been so busy, honestly. I have to, there's a couple people I'm bringing on that I haven't made it to yet, but yeah, we definitely got to lock something in, man. Now I got more freedom to my schedule. We're definitely going to have to lock it in, man. We'll have you come on and hang out for a bit and we'll just, get into a little more about you and everything else. Dude, I just honestly, I just been swamped.
Bro, you're dropping how many episodes a week? Trust me, I'm not.
3 episodes a week.
Trust me, my feelings aren't hurt, bro. I may go drink something after this, but they're not hurt. Anyways, man. So what else is new, man? How have you been, man?
Dude, it's been a wild bit. I've been, dealing with some things with somebody I met, we ended up not working out and, it's been a rough transition between things, but it's just what it is. But I'm going to get into that on the show though with people. I'm going to talk a little more about like how a lot of things came out of the conversation of like, how since I'm a male, I can't have feelings and, things like that. And then, how, people are telling me, oh, I need to go get help for that because, my ideations that I have, means that I'm not getting help, even though I did. I called 98 twice this past week and it was just to have a conversation because the thoughts were getting too overwhelming, and it's interesting when people only hear one side of the story, but don't want the other side because they don't want to hear it. And it's funny when you make assumptions about people and then you think it's okay to come and, just like make accusations and think I'm going to respond, which I'm not. whatever. I'm just going to keep going. I'll let it come out on the show. And when it comes on the show, what are you going to say then?
I always believe that there's 3 sides to the story: yours, theirs, and the truth.
Exactly.
So they always come out, bro. That's something that I've noticed that lately has been happening in my life, where, you know, it's not a secret that most of my siblings don't talk to me, and but little by little they started coming around, and I'm riding it until I can. I'm enjoying the time. You know, this bed has been used. Yeah. This bed in this room has been used so often recently than in the previous years. You know, in 2026, this bed has been used by my brother multiple times. He brought his kids. They spend the night here, and you know, it's a good year for me so far, 2026, when it comes to family. You know, like I said, my siblings are coming around little by little, and I love it, man. And it's been a very dark past for the Flat Tire Andy guy here, and just lately it's just been lighting up, man. And it's been like I said, I mean, my brother was just here a couple of days ago. I picked him up from the airport, and I'm loving it, bro. You know, and
yeah, definitely, man.
And you know, it is, and I'm hoping that, you know, the rest of them come around later on. Maybe, I'm not sure, you know, but you know, as long as there's still BS being said or influences, like that's what it's going to be. Like, people can choose to do what they want to do on their own, right? If Pete doesn't want to talk to me, that's because Pete is choosing himself not to talk to me. But, exactly. You know, it could be based on an influence that you know, something you heard, whatever the case would be. You know, it is what it is. You know, I've learned to accept it, you know. So I have a quick little story. I'm going to ask you first. Are you still talking to your mom? I forgot. I know there was a
We're talking more now. We had an actual conversation since the last time we talked.
Yeah,
we've had a lot more conversations, and my kids and I are actually having a speaking relationship versus not having a relationship at all.
Okay.
I'm getting divorced. So if this ever happens, the whole saga with that. But you know, yeah, man, like things are on the up and up. You know, it sounds like it, but it's like I'm in a better place, a happier place. I'm in rebuilding myself to somewhere that the show's taken off, you know, all that great stuff. But man, I'm happy though your family members are coming around little by little, man. That's awesome to hear.
The only like I said, the only thing is right now, I'm in a, like, what do you call it? I'm not sure where I am with my mom right now.
Yeah.
You know, we went back at the end of February. We went to a funeral. My aunt passed away. She is like a grandma to me. She is my grandfather's oldest sibling. She outlived all her siblings, bro. She was 99 and a half years old, bro.
Jeez.
And so
that's awesome.
We went to her funeral, and that couple of days before that, a week before that, or that weekend, I'm sorry, my brothers were here, and I was talking. He went to the funeral, and I was talking to him. Like, dude, bro, you fucking Irish goodbye, man. You didn't even fucking say bye to anybody. The next morning, you just up and left, and we were just bullshitting, right? He fucking Irish goodbye us, bro. And he was like, so we were giving him a hard time. My wife too. We were just fucking clowning with him, and then you see my mother walking little by little, trying to be a part of that conversation. And I was like, okay, just be cordial. And mind you, I only talked to her on her birthday when I wished her a happy birthday. And even the word happy, I struggle with typing. And, you know, she texted me that my aunt had died. That's the most of the conversation that we ever have, right? So there she comes. She's walking towards us, and I'm like, okay, how's this going to go? And you can hear her say, boys, are you going to say hi to your grandma? Talking to my boys, right? My kids. And they say they heard her, but they kind of ignored her. They kept on talking. And then she does it. She says it again. Boys, are you going to talk to your grandma? Are you going to say hi to your grandma? And this is when I'm like, hey, she's kind of talking. She's asking for you guys. So my oldest son started walking away, and my youngest, 17 years old, stares at her and says, no. And he walks away. Knowing the kind of person that my mother is, I know She is going to give them a fucking earful. Andy this, Andy that, blah, blah, blah. Again, people never take responsibility for their actions. So I'm assuming she's going to give this guy an earful. Why? Because I know. So we get to the hall and, at this point she's upset. You can see that she's upset. The boys didn't say hi to her, right? Whatever. We're talking 17, 18-year-olds now. The last time she physically talked to them was like maybe 5-6 years ago. So they're grown men now. Yeah. And so, the things going on, blah, 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 this and that. Saying hi to family, cousins, aunts, everybody. Oh my God, you guys made the trip. Thank you so much. Blah, blah, blah. Having a good old time. Lunch, dinner, whatever we were having. And then it was time to go. We started saying bye to everybody. I went to use the restroom. Washing my hands, I had fuck. I gotta say something. I gotta say something. So I walk up back to her and I say, hey, we're out of here. We're leaving. And I start my sentence by saying, I will not be apologizing for my kids' response. They are old enough to decide who they want to talk to and who they don't want to talk to. Now, the reason why they feel like that is because they've seen their dad cry. They've seen their dad suffer. They've seen their dad in pain over this whole family bullshit. Yeah. So then she adds, well, I'm trying and because I'm dying. She has stage 5 kidney failure. So she wants to pull the I'm dying card. Okay. Well, you trying to reach out to the boys today is not trying. That's just today. You can't use that as a definition of I'm trying. You just did it right now. That she said, well, I wanted to send them birthday cards. Well, why didn't you? Because I didn't know if they were going to accept them. Well, maybe if you did that, maybe today's conversation would have been a little bit different. Right. Hey, Grandma. Exactly. Hey, Grandma, thank you for the birthday card you sent me a few months ago. You know what I mean? It would have been a different conversation. So again, these boys have seen enough. They've seen their dad in pain over the bullshit. Maybe if you start eliminating the bullshit, then maybe we can start fresh. But in the meantime, that's how they feel. And I, again, will not be apologizing for them for their responses. I mean,
you shouldn't have to, though.
I was going to ask, am I wrong? Am I in the wrong? But, so that's the...
No, Andy, real quick, like you said, though, they're grown men now. They're able to make their own decisions, and you backing them says a lot to them, man, because, hey, listen, Dad's got my back now, and they see that, that you're not forcing them to talk to her because, that's what a lot of people would do. They say, go talk to her. Oh, go say hi to her. You know what I mean? Like, you're letting them make their own decision as men.
And that's
awesome. I love it.
And that's the one thing that conversation did come up. And they asked me, Dad, do we have to say hi to her? If we see her, she's there, do we have to say hi to her? And I was like, honestly, I told them from the start, no, you don't. Because they have their own feelings about their grandma. They have their own, like, it's sad because they have 2 biological grandmothers and neither one of them reach out to them. Yeah. Their mom's mom doesn't reach out to them. My mom doesn't reach out to them. So, you automatically expect to have some kind of relationship with them at a funeral because you want to say hi, and so they, like I said, they don't have a relationship with their grandmothers. But my wife's mom, on the other hand, that lady is a blessing. This is why I'm dressed the way I am, bro. We're going to go to church with her today. And I like to show my respects to this lady. To them, that's their grandma. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, she goes above and beyond. She, she makes sure that they are loved. And what all, in SpongeBob, when SpongeBob goes and sees his grandma and she treats him like, like grandma's cookies and all this fucking bullshit. Like the typical what a grandma should be is what they have here. Now, the oldest didn't say it out. Like, he said it, but she didn't hear him. My oldest did say my grandma lives in LA. You know what I mean? But I don't think she heard that part. Well, maybe she did. I'm not sure. But again, the relationship with my mother is not still, there, and I
Yeah.
had to give her my 2 cents. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry that I'm not sorry. I will not apologize for what they responded. But,
Yeah,
you know, maybe when you end this bullshit, because like I said, everyone's responsible for their own actions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned to accept that. I've learned that, you know, my sibling's not talking to me. She doesn't have to influence them. She doesn't have to influence them. She doesn't, but it is, you know, what do you call it? She doesn't, they're responsible for their own actions. Just like my boys were responsible for their own actions. They are as well, you know, but it's the influence that's there. Andy's the fucking bad guy. Now I can see, you know, for example, and I'm going to fucking say it. I don't give a shit. One of my siblings, one of the youngest ones, his daughter lives here in like the city over. She lives like 15 minutes from me. Well, apparently he can't see his daughter and it's my fault. Like, the fuck? How is that my fault? Oh, because I heard you talking shit about my son. And when I found out you were in town, I wanted to come find you. Why don't you say that? Why don't you add that to your conversation? To your statement of why you can't see. You're claiming you can't see your kid because of me. Why don't you say you're afraid to bump into me? Say that instead. Because you were talking shit about my son. So maybe my boys have a reason to not want to say hi to anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like I said, the other ones come over. Hey, uncle. Hey, uncle. Hey, uncle. You know, one of my siblings who has, and it's known because she found out. We were trying to keep it on the low from my mother that he came over because in her head, we're just talking shit. Mm-hmm. We could have came and freaking barbecued, watched a movie, but at the end of the day, we were talking shit. And the reason why I can say all this because I don't have to deal with her. Yeah. Everybody else walks on eggshells because they have to deal with her. I don't, you know? So again, the relationship with my mom, I don't know. It's not going to get, like I said, it takes two to tango. And I can try to be a good son. I can try to text more often. But at the end of the day, if you see me at the funeral and I'm assuming that the first thing she does is starts Andy, that is not us trying to move forward.
Yeah.
You know, when you eliminate the name Andy out of your negative statements, then maybe we can move forward.
Right.
I mean, am I asking for too much?
No.
So
it's me and my mom.
I'm glad that you and your mom are getting along. By the way,
we talk, but it's really like that's it. Like we've had a conversation. I've told her I love her, and my thought process is after reflecting with everything going on, divorce and everything else, and me taking responsibility for the things I did in the past and my own accountability. It's just like I don't want to live in the what if. What if we could have had something at this point? You know, even though the fact that what she did to me caused all this ripple effect, but at the same time, she's the reason this podcast even exists because that need to make other people feel welcome is just a superpower versus it being a crippling thing that is for a lot of people.
100%. No, 100%. Like when I started this podcast, I told her I will be sharing stories. And I'm letting you know now, I'm letting you know now that I will be sharing stories of my life. And, no, I'm talking shit about the family. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, right. Alrighty then.
Right. Exactly.
Anyways, enough about mamas. I recently got a promotion.
Heck yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yeah. I recently got, so I'm no longer, the last time we talked, I was selling beer. I no longer sell beer. I do sell something else that is addicting. But I recently got promoted to a territory in the city of Crenshaw, a little bit of Korea, and a little bit of Koreatown. Dude, okay. You know how many movie clips are in that freaking town? Awesome, I walk into the liquor store from Boys in the Hood. I walk in really? the one where Ricky and the Trey, is it Trey? They walk out of the liquor store and they're buying they're playing like a scratcher, lotto ticket.
Yeah.
Okay. There. I have that one. I have the liquor store in Menace to Society where Homeboy tries to rob them.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I am not far from where Ricky got shot in the back. I am not far from where, what was the other guy's Ice Cube's character. Is it
Mhm.
Ice Cube? Wherever his house was at, I have is in the area. And
That's so
then
cool, though.
yeah, dude, I guess there's a taco stand across the street from one of my stores where they filmed Baby Boy, like the drive-through scene. I've never seen Baby Boy, but
I've never seen it either.
there's
People have never
a
caught my
car
interest.
wash from National Security, Martin Lawrence and the fucking
Yes.
bee scene or whatever.
Yes,
Apparently, yes.
yes.
So I'm in a very I'm not far from the apartments of Boys in the Hood. I'm sorry, White Man Can't Jump.
Oh no, really?
Yeah,
That's
I'm
me, though,
all in
bro.
the area.
I
I'm
love
on.
White Man Can't Jump.
Apparently, they call that area the jungle. So he's like, since Officer Ricky, he's been on the podcast. Obviously, everybody knows Officer Ricky. He told me, text your brother-in-law. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm in the jungle. He's like, damn, you're fucking white in the jungle. You're gonna get shot. And you're walking around with the fucking badge on your chest like a fucking FBI agent. You're gonna get fucking shot.
Oh no!
Haven't been shot at yet.
Oh
so
man! Oh no! This is
haven't
gonna be
been-
interesting. We're gonna find Andy's gonna be like text me time, bro. I just got shot at. I'm so excited.
Yeah, right. This is podcast fucking. This is material for the podcast. You know what I mean?
Right there, you go.
Yeah. Hey man, I'm
Oh,
feeling
my
kind of
God.
woozy here. Fucking. I
Oh,
think you cut me.
shit.
I think you cut me too deep, man. Fucking scream.
Right.
You cut me too deep, man.
Oh my God!
Oh
No.
my God. Yeah.
Right.
I love it, man. I love it. I'm glad that they've for me being there only I started in October, already having this promotion. I love it, dude. It's a nice one. I mean, it's like sales can be stressful, and no matter
Oh, I
what,
believe it.
and no matter what you do, what you sell. You know, it can be candy bars at a freaking outside of a grocery store to, beer. It can be stressful. And right now, what I do now is in sales, but it's not stressful at all, bro. They give you a company car, so I love it, man. I love it. I think that's
Even better.
another reason why I think 2026 I started off good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, man. But other than that, bro. Enough about that bullshit. Enough about mamas, dear mama. And let's talk about you, bro. You were mentioning about how there's been already 176,000 suicides in 2026.
Oh, yeah.
And we're barely in April.
It's insane. It's insane. Think of that number though. 177,000. Think about that. And 80% of those are probably males. But we're talking about our mental health. Where then? Where are we doing something about it? If we're already at 177,000 in 2026, and the number is probably beyond that at this point too. And it's crazy because it's like, we as males are told not to say anything, and this is funny because this leads into something that happened the other day where I was told that, because I have feelings, they're not valid because, that somebody didn't agree with something I was saying. And this is coming from two other people that were in the same area I was listening to the conversation we were having, but to me, it's just like, why is this number so high? Like, think about it. 10 to 14 is going up in the rate too. Like, that's scary. 10 to 14. Like, that's your children out there. We're losing to these situations and we're not doing anything about it, or we're not doing enough. And if anything, because the numbers keeps going up. Like, what are we going to do before it becomes a problem that we need to start really taking some action about this?
I was talking to somebody. I was talking to my barber. I was talking to my barber yesterday, and he, because he knows about the podcast, he just never got into deep into the conversation about what's your podcast about, and he, because usually when we go in there, it's packed, bro, and the guys, dude, it's so different environment from where I used to get my haircut before to now. Dude, it's just guys just BSing, bro. Dude, they don't even know me. We're clowning on each other, bro. Like, one guy was wearing fucking Crocs and we were clowning on his Crocs, and he was like, well, at least I don't wear ankle socks. I'm like, oh, fuck, motherfucker. And we're just going back and forth. So it's like a fun environment, right? My wife went yesterday for the haircuts because my son has to work. So he got his haircut first and she had to take him. But she's like, I'm going to let you guys talk. You guys talk. Let you guys do your thing. I'm going to stay in the car. And she stayed in the car. She waited in the car. She waited in the car because she knows that haircut time is like guy talk. You know what I mean? They'll even involve the boys and stuff. Like there's times where they'll say something and they'll say, "Hey dude, there's a fucking kid in here, right?" And then my son's like, "I've heard worse." So, but the point of that was I was talking to him about the podcast yesterday and I was like, well, I myself almost committed suicide. And he's like, what? Like, he doesn't see it because he sees a fucking happy-go-lucky guy walk into this barber every once a month. And he was like, no way. I'm like, yeah, no, this is what I was doing. I was walking up to a train. There it came, and I can feel the fucking train. In fact, the day of the funeral, we were in that corner. We were in that corner where my son's like, what's wrong, Dad? And I just was having flashbacks and was just staring at, like, I felt like when the train when he blew his horn that day, I kind of jumped a little, like, fuck, let me get inside this fucking McDonald's quick, because it's like, I can see myself walking towards the train, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's normal though, because you're having those flashbacks as your body remembers, and even if your mind didn't recognize it, there was an interesting guest for season 3, in fact, that this leads into this kind of thing, where she didn't even know she was sexually assaulted at 3 years old because her brain cut her memory off of it, but her body remembered it was there. So when she saw a hypnotherapist, the hypnotherapist kept saying, "Hey, there's something we need to talk about." Yeah, so it's not nothing different than hearing that, because it's a lot of times you're having those flashbacks to what you're that moment you went back to that thought, man, and it's normal for that. Yeah, it happens.
And so I was mentioning to him, and he was like, "What stopped you?" And I'm like, honestly, I was pulled back. Something pulled me back. And he's like, something. And it's like, who pulled you back? I'm like, when I turned around, there was no one there. And then that's the day that my baby's mom told me that she was pregnant with this guy, and I pointed at my son, right? Dude, the guy got chills. He stopped cutting my hair. He was like, "I'm getting fucking chills right now, dude. I cannot believe what you're telling me." And I was like, "Hey, man, we've all been there, bro." And that's why I come on the podcast and I share my stories. And at first I thought I was gossiping and shit. And this is when you know it's not gossiping, bro. This is when you know it's not gossiping. Last night, I was up late last night, so I'm glad that I woke up in time to record with you today, because I was up late last night. I received a message. So I got a new follower, right? Yeah. I got a new follower yesterday, and he started watching all my reels, all my clips, right? Mm-hmm. And he started commenting on the reels, on the comments and whatever. And then he reached out of nowhere. He said, "Hey, Andy, hope I spelled that right. Is there any way I can donate to your page to help support the ongoing mission you have?" It would mean a lot to me. He wants to donate to the podcast because that's awesome. Just the clips that he heard me. And this is when the clips that he heard on my Instagram page, right? I'm sure he came across yours as well. He started liking them. He started listening to them. And then I told him the full stories on Spotify. And so this is where I know it's real. He didn't ask me for my Venmo. He didn't ask me for my Zelle. He recommended I start a Patreon. So I was like, what the hell? In the conversation, I don't know if you can see it. It just, no, you can't see. It's too bright. It just kept on going, bro. And he's just like, "Hey, I just want to help support your what you're doing." And it's like, again, I never thought that's what this was. It's just me having a conversation and letting you, Pete, share your story. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I do. I let people share their stories. And as you can see, I'm booking episodes again. And I didn't know that this guy took this to heart, bro. So I did create a Patreon. I was up late last night creating a Patreon. Woke up this morning to realizing that it was active. And now I'm just have to, I guess, create the tiers and
Patreon. I tried doing Patreon. Like, I even tried doing school, man. Like, I had a community called the You Matter Society, but it was just too much. I didn't have enough time to do it with everything else I'm trying to do, because I run the show, I schedule the show, I put all the clips out and everything. Like, I'm a one man show. Like, I didn't have time. And then somebody felt like I was neglecting it, but I'm like, I couldn't put enough time into it. I'm sorry, but I just didn't want to dedicate something to something I couldn't 100% put me into it.
The difference with you and me is that you do 3 episodes a week. Mm-hmm. I record 8, give it a month break, then I record 8 again, then break 8 again, and so on and so on. You actually do this again. I haven't been a guest on this podcast because he's too busy apparently.
Here we go. Here we go with this crap. All right. Okay. Listen. No, yeah, but I do 3 days a week. Like, you know, I over 300 interviews. I've got a partnership now, you know, like I get paid through my guest booking services. I get paid through clicks, you know, and it's not even like work, honestly, man. I spend Mondays and Tuesdays recording all day sometimes. Like, I do 4 to 5 people Mondays and Tuesdays. So this show is pre-recorded to at least May currently, and probably further, because I have like 9 more episodes I still have to edit, you know, and everything. And I still have 4 Monday, 2 for my side project, Voice of the Voiceless, which has been taking off. And I'm already booking out to July and that thing too. So I'm doing that every Monday as well, on top of my other show. And then I'm making appearances on other shows. Like, you know, the Wednesdays I get together with another podcaster named Uncle Jimmy. We get together and have a conversation with him and a couple other people. I joined the network, so now I'm available on the Bad Habits Network. You know, the Shannon family. God, I can't remember what the whole thing was, but it's a whole network name that goes with it. But you know, the same thing was to be monetized at the end of the day. So I'm onboarding myself first, and then before I start bringing other people into it, because I want to make sure we have an idea how to do this thing with the goal to monetize, you know. But that's awesome. Somebody reached out to you, because I got somebody that came on the show and donated $500 to the podcast. She was like, "Hey, I want to send you a donation." And I was like, "Okay, cool. What do we do this?" And now my partnership deal, they paid for 12 episodes, and then we're going to relook at it. I got access to the PsychPal thing for a whole year, so I get to play around with that for a whole year. Plus, I have a promo code for people that I'll send you the link and everything. And it's just enter PETA to check out with the link of how to try it out. And if you like it, you get a 20% discount on the first month subscription.
Nice.
Which I'll give to Andy to put in the show notes for everybody to have. So it's my gift to everybody else.
Yeah.
But it's really cool though. You know what I'm saying? Like all these opportunities are so great, man. This is what we love what we do though.
No, that's awesome, bro. That is awesome.
Because I remember the first time when we met, you were like, "I just do this part time." I'm like, "Okay, watch. He's gonna change his fucking mind next time we see each other." What happened? See?
So all of a sudden, money's gonna be knocking on my door, right?
And then I'm gonna do Humanity 2.0 by the way as well. Yeah. So I'm gonna do another episode on there. Apparently, my episode was the most listened to episode of 2025.
Yeah, no, I mean, I have my sponsor, and he's taking care of me, and I'm loving it. But back to this. This is the one thing we did last time, bro. We kept getting sidetracked.
That's right, we did. I loved it though. I had a fucking blast though, man. I told everybody, I'm like, "Bro, y'all not gonna check the Andy's thing?" Oh, dude, it was a fucking blast hanging out with him.
Yeah, no, I like to make it fun, bro. But we have the conversation is good that we continue to sidetrack. But I took a couple I was like, you know, usually I have questions. Today, more bullet points. It's more of a, you know, like for example, we're talking about the suicide rate already in 2026. He goes talking about mental health helps, but people still cannot get real help.
Yeah, isn't that scary?
Yeah,
you're asking for help, but you can't get help. It's not available enough for people. But you know, things like PsychPal are nice because it's not taking over therapy. It's that bridge that helps you out in between those sessions. Like it'll take notes near you, and then there's, you know, all these other things you can do now. Like everybody's coming with something new, but it's like we need to do something about it now. And the fact that like we had a conversation about these 2 individuals trying to get their psych meds and they couldn't, even though they need this to balance themselves or whatever it needed for. You know, because medication has its place these days, you know, and these individuals, one has, schizoaffective disorder, which is a really complex thing when you get into it, and they need it to help stabilize him. The other one has BPD, which is what if we remember, everybody should know that basically it runs like, bipolar, but it's way more extreme. Like everything they feel is on a bigger level, and you know, all these other different things that happen, you know, but they can't get their medicines because they cost like $3,000-$4,000. It's crazy.
It looks like, sorry, I was reading over here. No, 100%. Like medication. Well, medication also does bad than good, but I
think, you know, it has its place for the certain people that have those disorders that are really extremely on the scale of just like really complex of things that happen. Now I could see the place for them. And at the same time, with all the different things that are coming out now, you know, all these different things like, you know, different holistic methods, meditations and breath work and all these other things, devices you can use now. A lot of people are going toward those and then seeing more effective things and then having to be in the medicine, which is nice because you're not stuck on the one path system where we were in the 90s where it was medicine. Now it's there's so many different options out there. Hypnotherapy, all these other different things. These people I interview that come on that have these different things that you can go try, and something may work better for you versus everything else.
Yeah. What do you call it? Based on the numbers, 176,000 right now. That's already what? 3 times. My math is not great out loud. About 49K people die a year committing suicide, right? 49. How the fuck are we already at 176 in 2026?
Yeah.
At 176 in 2026. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's a number that, what percentage is what is males, what percentage is the children, and then when you start really breaking it down, you find that men are more likely to commit suicide than females, because females will talk about it, but males won't say anything about it because, society tells us we're not allowed to. And then the age of 10 to 14 is on the uprise, and then college students are right up there with it. And these are all men because when the internet get introduced, fun fact is that most kids will tell you that the internet has negative effects on their mental health versus anything positive, because of the ways that people interact with each other these days, the hateful comments, all these things they see, all the misinformation. We can only take so much information at once, but the internet throws it at you so fast. It's like you're getting overloaded. And then these poor kids are like, they don't have people that limit their screen time. So then they're overwhelmed and it's affecting them. And then they're being picked on by somebody else. You know what I mean? Like there's just too many things coming at them at once that they can't handle it all.
Do you agree that freaking parents should sue Instagram and Facebook for this shit?
You know what? I feel like Instagram and Facebook need to be held accountable for what they're allowing these kids. But if you notice that Instagram came out with the kids version now all of a sudden, because of the whole controversial thing about hey, you have to police your own site. Well, why? Because what are these kids seeing? Like these younger girls are seeing these older women that look like, like trashy whores to everybody else, and they think that's how they're supposed to look. These men think that you're supposed to grate women and act like it, but you have Andy's over here teaching his kids something, but if they were easy influenced by the internet, he's gonna have to fight against that. Be like, hey, listen, guys, you shouldn't treat women like this. This is not correct. You know what I'm saying? Like there's plenty of things out there, and then the disgusting posts you get of like these 14-year-old kids where grown men are saying, hey, your dress would look great on the floor. And it was like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? But you're not, Instagram won't say anything about that, but everything else goes on. It's, and it's the same thing with TikTok, all these other apps. Like if you think about it, like whatever drives them the most money is what they're allowing to happen, because it's a greedy system, no matter what it is, because that's what it is. Money rules the world, unfortunately. And our children's safety isn't on that top of that list with 10 to 14-year-old boys committing suicide. Oh, we're not worried about that. But hey, listen, we're making a lot of money off this avenue over here. We're making a couple $1 billion off, people sending coins from TikTok. If you watch some of these people start throwing like crazy amounts of money around, through these half naked girls. But what image are you telling these kids?
Yeah. It's
okay to look like that. It's not how things should go, man. Like, it's like, it's like people value what they see versus what they should be looking on the inside of most people, and then the internet lies to you, honestly, because think about it. All these pictures of happy families, things like that. But what's going on really on the home front is we don't know. And when you find out, then everybody's so shocked. Like, oh God, like you were telling your barber, I thought about committing suicide. Whoa, man. Whoa, hold on. I never knew. Yeah, because either A, you didn't know what to look for, or B, you were just never had the conversation, which is understandable because a lot of people can't handle that conversation. Like someone calls you and tells you they're thinking about taking their life, like you're gonna panic. You don't know, but if you don't know 988 exists, they've called like, hey, listen, get them on with 988. Somebody's trained to handle this situation, or you're not equipped to listen to it. Like it's the same thing with grief. If you think about it, like people that grieve, it's hard to know what to say to somebody because anything you can say could upset them. And you just have to understand that, these people are struggling. Like, there's no timeline in it. Like, you're out for 2 weeks. You're going to come back and be ready. No, most people don't recover from a lot of this stuff for years down the road. It's hard.
Yeah. Freaking, I didn't, back to Instagram, I didn't even allow my boys to have an Instagram until they were like 16.
I don't blame you.
You know what I mean? It's never been
Andy, let's write down my Instagram feed one time, you and I, and let's look at some of the videos. And if your first response isn't that it needs therapy, you're going to be, trust me, because that's what they say,
Yeah. Well,
so hey, listen, real quick before we change the subject from the suicide thing, did you hear about the NFL players that have committed suicide? The Cowboys guy, and then the kid from the Minnesota Vikings they found dead in his own house by inflicted gun wound. Like, how about that? That's the part that really irritates me the most. It's like this organization has these two young guys are gone, but they don't talk about it now. Like they say 2 minutes about it. I figured Jerry would have been all over that one. Like he loves the spotlight. He would have gone in there and started making some kind of initiative to try and do better for these younger guys and just get them, start doing doing checks on them. Hey, listen, how are you doing? Are you doing okay? Like just doing some
put
like
them through
evaluations.
NFL players, and not just NFL players. All players should be put through
exactly.
Like they have to pass drug tests. They have to pass this. Well, what about a psych evaluation? Make them pass.
What about
too.
what about thinking about what's going on in their head in case there's something warning signs of something that's going on? Because these two individuals are young, like super young kids, man, in their 20s. It's like 20 years old. These poor kids are taking their lives.
I told Ricky, right? It was like something about me being a cop or whatever. I'm like, bro, I would never pass a psych evaluation. I would have shot people already.
But think about what Ricky goes through on a daily basis, though. At that level, he's got to make split decisions. The things he's dealing with on a constant basis. EMTs are probably the highest amongst people that are going to commit suicide because the things they see at such a rapid pace is just insane. Yeah, like they're dealing with constant issues, and they're not even. They're working 48-hour shifts. Think about that: 48 hours, and you're hardly sleeping. Can't be good.
Yeah. I liked your topic. I liked one of the topics you sent me about feeling your emotion versus acting on them.
Need auto insurance or an SR22? Like now, SolarX Insurance gets you covered fast. No license, no problem. We speak your language, shop the best rates, and get you back on the road today. Call 877-736-4719. That's 877-736-4719. Visit slxinsurance.com or call now 877-736-4719. Quick, easy, done. Solar X Insurance. Drive with confidence.
And
let's talk about that, because people don't want to feel their emotions these days, because if they did, they're confused, because a lot of us don't know what it is. And then when you act on them, it's like, say you're mad and then you get mad and start lashing out at other people. It's okay to feel angry about something, but when you start lashing out at other people, that's not fair to them. They didn't do something to upset you. Like, you're upset, but nobody wants to feel your emotions because they're scared of them. Because if we feel the feelings, even us as men, if we feel the feelings, then we're considered wusses and everything else, and it's like, and I met this girl recently that does a podcast called the Lights Out Podcast, a narcissistic podcast. Sage, Whitney is her name. Her and I were interviewing, and she was talking about men, okay? And a funny statistic she said, with the state of Utah she's in, she said she met a Samoan guy who runs a group for husbands, okay? So the statistics in this group were 18% versus the other remaining amount, which would have been 82%, okay? So 82% of them say they don't have a space with their wife to talk about their mental health, but 18% do. Now, that's a scary number if we think about it, because we're not allowed to feel our emotions as men, because we're considered wusses, because we have feelings and they're, everything else. But we always beat each other shit about it. Like, what do you say? Oh, you're being a pussy, or you're being this, or you're being a female, things like that we do to razzle each other, because that's what we do as men. We like to do that because we're on that whole tower system, and we got to be the alpha males and talk shit about each other, because we got to bring each other down, because one of us are more in tune to our feelings than the other person, versus, like when people get mad and they're upset or they're confused, you react. You have a reactive state. You're going off on other people, lashing at other people. You're going through a PTSD moment. You're freaking out, but you don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? Like, instead of feeling those feelings of like you're upset, or you're grieving and you're just torn apart about it and just let it out, you have to sit there and bottle it up, and then you become reactive, it's horrible, because we all know what happens when you put too much pressure on something, it's going to blow. So what do you think is going to happen when you don't say something about these or feel these feelings, or being told it's not okay to feel these feelings? So what are we teaching these younger kids then by doing this as males? We're not teaching them that they need to feel these feelings, because then they're going to start to sit there and bottle them up, and then they're going to be reactive versus actually feeling those feelings, which is crazy, because it just shouldn't be like that, though.
It's, what do you call it? I was always made fun of for crying a lot, when I would cry. And then I look at it now and like, you know what? I would have rather cried than pick up alcohol or drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think of the alternatives of where you could have gone, because that's why a lot of people medicate or self-medicate, because they can't handle the issues they're dealing with. Alcohol to silence the voices for a lot of them. Medications are just to try and dull the pain and things like that too. And then they get addicted to some of this shit, and then you can get into some really crazy shit that these guys could get into, you know? So.
I mean, one of the newest podcast episodes, I have my brother on there, and he was shocked to hear that through all the bullshit we've been through, I never turned to alcohol or drugs. And my thing was always fucking crying, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck it, get it
especially,
out, man.
Especially if you're an empath, you really feel those emotions of people, you know. And that's the hard part of the show. Sometimes is when you're hearing some of these stories. Like the season 3 has just been fucking wild, man. The season opener, holy fuck, dude, that was a fucking emotional roller coaster like no tomorrow, man. For anybody that's listening that has not heard that, go listen to Rise of the Phoenix on my show and tell me that didn't fuck you up a little bit. When this girl was talking about, she's talking about suicide, she's talking about cutting her wrist, drinking bleach. And there's that is just a little bit of it. That's just a tidbit about it. That's the middle portion of it. The first beginning of it, like how she got to that point, was probably the craziest story I've heard so far this season. It's still number one. There's a couple others, you know, the one I was telling you about, the girl who forgot that didn't even know she was sexually assaulted at 3. Her story was insane because she said people are making fun of her for being sexually assaulted. I'm like, I'm glad you think that there's a humorous side to this, because I don't see the funny part of it, because I got upset in that one and I went on a 10-minute rant where I was like, how fucking dare you sit there and make fun of this woman for the things that she's going to have to deal with the rest of her life, the trauma, the things she's going to have to remember, the imagery in her head that she may not remember, but she'll feel it, just a sense of that moment or something that triggers her to go off, you know, and she's just going to be reactive versus actually feeling those feelings, because she's like, she doesn't know what's going on. And then she finds out, though, that that's what happened. And it still baffles her, because she's like, well, what the hell? How come, you know, why did this happen? You know, and I don't know anything about it. And then she's like, then you're making fun of her for what reason? Like where the fuck do you get out making fun of somebody for that? That's horrible. That girl didn't choose that. Yeah. Hey, listen, I'm 3 years old. I decided I wanted to get, you know, I want to get sexually assaulted by somebody. That's really what my dream was. You know what I mean? Like, it's just fucked up, you know, like, and then at the same time, it's like, we tell our kids to say something, Andy, and then she went to tell somebody in a lot of these situations. A lot of people in these situations go to tell somebody, and I've heard it constantly. Oh, we went to tell somebody. We're told they don't believe us. We're just making things up. Yes, because I'm making up that good of a story that somebody touched me inappropriately.
That's the case for most parts. My understanding, it hasn't been said out loud to me, but my understanding, you know, similar things happened to, let's say, my mother. And when she went to go and report it to her parents, that her own parents were like, because the guy was a family friend, they turned the other eye. Now, as we get older and we understand shit like this, and even stuff that happened to us, we're like, fuck, okay. So maybe there's what's the word? There's evidence of there. There's patterns of it. You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool.
The patterns are there.
You know what I mean?
Or the things they say too, Andy. You'll learn like when I'm doing my show, I've learned like a lot of things that people say. Like they'll say certain words and you'll just get that sense like, you know, this is going somewhere.
Yeah.
Like the conversation will start leading that way. Like they'll say certain things that you just start picking up on. And it's like, you can't tell people what it is because you'd have to know what you're listening for. Like you just start, and it's just that sixth sense I have when I'm doing the show. Like in my head, I'm guessing, I'm like, okay, where's this thing going to go now? And what it does, I'm almost 90% of the time correct of where it's going, because I've learned to listen to what these guys are saying and how they're putting it together and the things they were saying, you know, and the dialogue they use. And a lot of people I know, like, you know, you can tell this, like, basically on some of the things they say, like, I'll know, and I'll just tell them, hey, listen, you don't have to say anything else. I already know what you're talking about. And I won't tell anybody else what it is, because it's not my place to say something, especially in those situations, because they're so embarrassing to people. Because who wants to sit there and talk about these kind of things out loud? Because that's why the response that that poor woman got. Or, you know, you make a post on social media and people just start telling you that you're crazy, or you're making up stories, you're doing it for attention. All these other sickening things that get said to people, that's so fucked up, that these kids nowadays are seeing this and thinking this is how you should address your mental health, instead of us having an honest conversation. They're like, listen, hey, we all have things that go on in our head. It's okay to have these problems, but to tell somebody so we can at least help you before they become to the point where you think about even harming yourself, because that's what it leads to. And then when you get to a certain point, it's like, well, fuck, you're not going to save them. At that point, you can't say nothing to anybody, because at that point, like, everyone's telling you, hey, Andy, you looked happy, this and that, all these other passive things that, you know, you show off and that nobody would ever know because you didn't let anybody. You masked the whole thing to everybody and no one had a single idea that that's what you were doing.
100%. And again, like I said, I going back to my my mom. I go back and I start thinking. I start asking myself questions. Okay, because she was 14 when she had her first child. Okay. I'm like, okay, then is there a reason why? What's the real story of her being sent to a nun's sanctuary, whatever you want to call it? What's the real reason why she had her first child in LA? And what's the story behind why my grandparents took custody of the child?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it gets you thinking. When you start seeing, like I said, when you start seeing patterns and you start seeing like, wait a minute, holy shit, what if this happened to her too? You know what I mean? Like, and our thing was our conversation with my siblings was like, just because it happened to her doesn't mean you have to allow it to happen to your kids. Because when I brought up something to her, I think it's what I said on episode 135. When I brought it up to her attention, she made it seem like that's normal. Okay, then, like I said, as an adult now, you realize, wait a minute, if she thinks that someone trying to rape me is fucking normal, then that means that she was raped. You know what I mean? That the only explanation for that. And when you put the two and two together, I was around the age that she was when I believe this was going on. Around the same time that she had her first child. Now, I did get a glimpse of the picture of what this guy looked like, and this motherfucker was hella old. So, and then again, my grandpa did work. He was a foreman for a, fields and shit, like vegetables and all that good stuff. Yeah, and it was all guys. You know what I mean? And his house was on the fucking farm. So it's like, it's like I said, as you get older and you start connecting the dots. You know what I mean? Definitely. And it's like, all it took was one statement of someone to tell me, hey, well, she hinted that happened to her. Then it's like, oh shit, kind of like in The Hangover, fucking Alan's mind is going crazy on math. Then I just start fucking connecting the dots. LA, the nuns, having the kid in LA, taking custody of the kid. I just start fucking thinking of everything, bro. Like I was like, oh man, like my job, I say I'm a thinker, but I don't get paid to think, so I'm gonna keep my comments to myself. Kind
of like Jimmy Neutron, he's like he makes that statement, like everything hits him at once, and he's just like bazinga, or whatever the fuck he says there. I can't remember what he says, a brain blast or something he says, but it hits him all at once. Like he's like, oh shit, I realize what's really going on. Or that climactic point in any kind of like thriller movie where they're like, oh shit, they start piecing everything together and realize everything starts making sense now that you're really putting it in perspective.
We're going to go back a little bit here. Can you give me the podcast titles of those two young ladies that you had so that my listeners can go back and look at it?
The one for sure is The Rise of the Phoenix. Right. Now, the other one, I'm not sure what I titled it, but it's with Holly Hagg is the guest you're looking for in the description, because the description will tell you who's the guest on the show.
Who was it? I'm sorry, what's the second one?
Holly Hagg is the girl you're looking for the guest for the second one. I don't know what her episode was titled as. I think it's something to do with trauma or something like that.
That's why
I remember that.
That's why that's why I number all my podcast episodes, bro. You know what I mean? Just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This guy wants to tell me to run my show.
Are you gonna hang up now?
I'll get you the name of it though after this. I can look it up and tell you what exactly it is. So we'll put it in the notes for everybody.
I'll put them in the notes. Yeah, I'll put it in the notes. All right, let's see here.
Maybe Andy will start crying about not being on the show. He knows a messenger works two ways, right?
Hey, bro, I already have the reputation.
I didn't say nothing, bro. What do you mean? I didn't say nothing, bro.
I already have the reputation of crying a lot, bro. I'll continue to cry, bro. You should have heard the one with Viva Con Huevos. I fucking threw it in his face multiple times that he never bought me a shirt. He never got me a shirt. You know what I mean? Hey, man, you told me you were gonna get me fucking. You told me you were gonna get me fucking a shirt and a hat, bro. That never happened, bro. You know what I mean?
What the hell kind of stuff is that? What those promises of T-shirts? I love it. I'm down for it.
Fuck, dude. Give a brother a shirt, Times are hard, bro. I can't afford a shirt, you know what I mean?
Right, exactly.
Dude, speaking of shirts, fuck, man. This is how much the last company, and again, here we go, off topic. This is my turn. This is me. Now I'm the one going off topic. We had a meeting, because we have a meeting once a month with this company, right? I love it. It's all day, but it's only once instead of like random, hey, you guys got a meeting today at 3:00. Hey, you got a meeting tomorrow at 3:00. Like, this is last minute bullshit. No, these are scheduled a month in advance. And they had like the big wigs there. And I am not a fan of the polos they give us, because if they get caught on something, you can see a little string already sticking out, right? So they were kind of asking questions like, what can we do to improve it? Apparently, they're going to switch our laptops to iPads, which everybody celebrated. And then when they were talking about clothing, I hey, is it possible to upgrade the shirts to dry fit? And they're like, oh, I think we used to have them in the past. And then you start hearing people saying, well, they weren't that great and blah, blah, blah. But even for you, maybe they weren't great, but maybe for some of us, they are. And that's a better option than look at these little snags all over the shirts, right? It doesn't look professional. And they were talking about it again. And I raised my hand. I'm like, hey, sorry. I was just fucking spoiled at my last job with dry fit shirts, man. Sorry. I you know what I mean? So hey, Viva con Huevos, can you make it a dry fit, please? That'd be great.
All right. Come on, get him the dry fit shirts, bro. Let's go.
Let's go. So really quick, let's jump back on board here. The reason why I had you come back on, bro, because I don't think we shared this conversation on the first episode. The first episode that Pete was on was called Egging Me On 139.
Here we go to the end numbers again. I'm not numbering them. I hate to break news to you, bro.
Watch. You guys are going to go to his podcast and all of a sudden they're all being edited and Shay's going to add a number to every single one of his podcast episodes.
Oh, no. There's like 300. There's no way in hell I'm going through that. I tried that at one point. I was like, I give up on this. This is crazy.
I just started numbering them since day one. I don't even know why. I see people just give them a title. I'm like, that sounds pretty cool, but I already started. I'm not going to go back and remove the numbers. Numbers are there. Anyways, plus I say I'm on the podcast episode too, so it's too late now. So I was listening to your episodes. Now it's, my last job, I was able to listen to podcasts all day. Mm-hmm. I'm inside the cooler with my thoughts and my earpiece. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so I listen to podcasts all the time. So now I don't have that privilege. I talk to the customer. 90% of my visits are with the customer. The last one was in the cooler. Now it's different. So on my drive home to work or my drive back, since it's an hour commute or more, I'll start listening. And I came across one of your episodes that you were talking about how you were robbed at gunpoint at one point.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, dude, we never talked about that on our podcast, on the episode you were on, 139, egging me on. And,
this motherfucker, I swear, we're gonna go. But no, listen, not a lot of people knew about that though, because it happened like it was probably one of the craziest things that ever happened to me, next to like Homeland Security pulling me over.
So what happened? Take us back to that day, the day your shift started, and
I come in, like a normal day. I worked like a 2 to 10 range, so I worked a mid shift type thing. So I was like second. So I came in, and we were there in the store. Okay, so we're going okay to get through the day. It's getting busy. We're in a rougher neighborhood of the Houston area. Okay, so we're on the north side of town. For anybody that knows what Houston looks like, if you're like on the what is it? The northwest side.
It's your Compton. Your Crenshaw.
Oh, almost, yeah. This was, if you could literally go south and it's like you're in like Cabrini and Green in Chicago, like that rough, and that, like you're that close to like something going rough. Where we were, it's just kind of like, a little rough, So I remember the day though of what was going on. Like we were busy, okay? So then later on that night, we're still busy. Like the whole parking lot's packed kind of thing. Like it's really the only thing in this area though. So there's anything there for miles. So we're the only thing left. What happens is that it's really interesting because there was a cop that comes in and visits me all the time. And he was like, I think he was one of the county cops. He came by, said hello, was hanging out for a few minutes, talking to us, He leaves, okay? And then the issue that we've been having has to do exactly how the sequence went down, is that the back door, we said at the nighttime, is a dangerous thing to have open in this time where we're at. Like, you need to lock the door. The company said no. Okay, so he leaves not longer, maybe 5-10 minutes afterwards. The back door opens, and what happens next is there's 3 guys that come in the store. Now, in my mind, this is literally happening in a slow motion mode, and it's going as one guy jumps the counter because you have a kitchen on the far side. Like if I'm looking straight at that back door, there's a kitchen on the right side. The counter where the buffet style is right there because we offered breakfast and things. They got 2 guys ran on the side. One guy jumped the counter, and then next thing you know, like within a snap of your finger, there's 2 guns, one in my head and one in my chest. I can feel the barrel of the guns touching me. Now, at this moment, I'm not freaking out, but I'm trying to keep it cool because there's a young lady that's there with me. And there's a guy in the back who, as soon as he heard somebody shouting out there, he apparently, when he watched the camera back, he had slid his wallet underneath one of the tables in the back. So these guys have had me at gunpoint, and they're yelling and shouting and things in my ear. And I'm just like, I'm trying to listen to what he's saying, but the other guy's just shouting in my ear the whole time. And they're like demanding, oh, go open the safe. I'm like, well, unfortunately, the safe's time locked. I can't do anything about it. Open the fucking register then. Okay, so I opened the register, kept my hands up. For a brief second, I looked to my right, made eye contact with the guy, and I went back the other way because I was like, you're trying to get out of their way so they can get what they need. So I went and opened the register. So I opened the second register to find out this girl next to me had like, God knows how much money in there that you shouldn't have. And this is why I always tell people that where I work now, because I work overnights now, and I'm like, listen, you need to make sure you watch what money you have because you don't know who's casing the place. So they come in, they take the money, they're shouting and screaming in my ear. I can feel the barrel of this gun in my head. My life is flashing before my eyes at this point, I have kids at home. I had the young one at home. Right now, it's my oldest daughter was born at that time. The twins weren't there just yet; they were close. And I had a pregnant girlfriend that was my fiance at the time. And I'm like, oh shit. So they take the money, they take the whole inserts of the drawers out with them. The other guy, I'm not really sure what the fuck he was doing. It was really weird because when we watch the camera back, you're watching him just trying to figure out. He didn't realize the wall he's next to is where all the cigarettes are. Well, that's a lot of money. You got to think $50, $60 a carton. And when this happened, is probably what it was. And then some of the higher end stuff that's under there too, like Benson and Hedges, like these guys could have made off some serious ass money. So they ended up leaving. And the minute it was over, I started shouting for the other girl. I said, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? And then she said something, and I just started shaking because all the adrenaline just rushed out of my system. And I was just like, it was the worst feeling ever. So I had to call my boss and tell her. And she's like, she's on the phone laughing, but it's not like you should think, is this going to sound fucked up? But she was trying to get me to laugh because she could tell I was upset when I called her. I said, hey, I'm like, I just got robbed at gunpoint, and I was trying to get the words out. And she said, oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not kidding you. She goes, are you okay? I said, no, I'm not. And I was freaking out, dude. I was literally freaking out. And then all of a sudden I started shaking. Like my body just started tremoring everywhere. And I was freaking the fuck out. So the cops come and they asked me to watch the video because they said, in this moment, you're going to be hypersensitive. You're going to be able to see things. You're going to be able to feel these things. You're going to be able to notice anything out of the ordinary. Do you mind watching this video back with us a few times and we'll see what you notice? Like I point out, like one of the guys is for some reason is wearing orange ski mask in green. I don't know why you would wear that. That seems a little odd to all of us, and that's really all you could see though, is that they came in. He
got that shit at discount at fucking Big Five, bro. Or
he probably did, bro. Like it was like, what the fuck? Like world's dumbest criminal type shit. So, okay. So when we were watching it, we noticed the car is weaving in and out of the different spots. Like they're casing the place as they're watching it. And there's a window to my left where this register is set. So you can see to the left, you can watch out the window, but I'm too busy to see all these things that are going on. This car is just coming out and then they pull around back. And then that's when you see them all run out. And that's when the door sequence started, where it was slow motion. Cause it was like a little slow motion, like it's happening, but it's happening in real time. But my brain is picking up a slow motion because I was like, this is fucked up, it's right. It was close to Halloween too, because that was the funny part. It was close to Halloween. So I was like, oh, it's just somebody playing a fucking joke or something being loud coming in or whatever. Because, we're in a rowdy neighborhood anyways. All these people coming in throwing shit. We had a guy outside stealing fucking Cokes on the dock half the time. We didn't stop him. We just counted how many he was taking. He opened his back trunk, pulled up, and just was chucking them in like he's throwing bags of ice in there, bro. Like that's the kind of shit we were dealing with.
Right.
So the sequence of events that happened after this, I went home. Oh, well, my boss called me and asked me if I was okay. He's like, all right, we're on our way to come take over the store. Well, my general manager shows up. The other lady that was on the phone trying to get me to calm down, she's trying to get me to laugh, trying to get me to settle down because she could tell I was bad. I didn't know how bad it was at this moment, but it was bad. It was fucking bad. Like I had night terrors and, stuff like that preceded that. But she was like, are you like, she's trying to get me to laugh. Like, it's okay. You're all right. What matters is they got what they wanted. They didn't harm anybody, and I get that, and then it was a lot of people telling me, oh, what I would have done in that situation, until you're in that situation, I don't give a fuck what you tell me, dude. Yeah. You weren't in that situation. 2 barrels touching me of an automatic weapon. They could have killed me at any point and I wouldn't be here still. But, then I went home. And I just went home and I sat down for a minute. I didn't know what to say. And my girlfriend at the time was just like, she's like, are you okay? I said, no, I'm not okay. I don't even know what to think at this point. I called and told her what happened. She was half asleep. I said, hey, I don't mean to wake you up, but I just got robbed at gunpoint. She goes, oh my God, are you fucking serious? I'm like, yeah. Why didn't you call me sooner? Yeah, because like I'm like, well, because I had to wait for
robbed.
I mean, I get a point of view like, why didn't I call her immediately afterwards? But I'm like, I had other procedures I had to do. I'm calling to let you know I'm okay. She didn't know in the moment. You know, nobody knows what's saying that moment. So like, I get home and I'm sitting there. I just didn't know what to say. Like this image in my head just kept playing over the emotion of the guys jumping over the counter, the feel to I could feel the gun, but it wasn't there. Like people always joke about phantom blackberries. So like you always feel something there, but you could feel it like right against your temple and your chest, and it was just tormenting me. So like I tried to go to sleep that night and I couldn't. I kept having night terrors. Like I just kept replaying the moment in my head, and then my HR called me and was talking to me about it. And I told her what happened. I said, my boss told me, and this is my big boss, told me that he wanted me to come back and watch the camera to see what I did wrong. And she said, are you fucking serious? I said, yeah, I'm dead serious. She goes, hold on a second. Let me call you back. Calls me back 10 minutes later. Said, don't worry. You don't have to worry about watching that video anymore. We've let him go. They fired this guy instantly. Because they're like, they were that pissed. She was like, you know what? You take as much time as you need. And they were awesome. The HR people that I worked for was just fucking phenomenal. Stellar crew. She was like, are you okay? I said, no, I don't think I'm okay. So like, I'm having real bad flashbacks right now. Like I sleep and I could just fucking feel it. The emotions of everything going through my head and everything else. And it fucked me up big time. And I'm like, when I went back to the store, I was so fucking paranoid. I'm looking around the room like you would have thought I was on something, because I was literally looking out that window every 2 minutes. I was staring at that back door every so often, just waiting for something to go wrong, and that was when we kept telling them, it's like, hey, you need to lock this door. We're not in a safe neighborhood, and if you went south to that store, going there, you really don't want to be there, because 2 weeks later, there was an incident where another person got robbed, where it turned out the guy went crazy and grabbed the girl by the throat. They ended up having to shoot the individual with the girl still in his hands. The poor girl never seen again in that store, because, I can only imagine what she's dealing with. Then there was another girl after that where she got dragged by her hair back around the counter. And then the company really didn't do anything about it. It's like you didn't bring any security in. Like, you're putting people in these situations. Like, it's kind of what I do it now. Like, my job now, like, they were trying to tell me to go out to the ghetto. I'm like, do you understand? Like, you're sending me into the ghetto is not a great idea. And you call that a promotion, but that's really the demotion, because I have to drive further from where I'm at now, because I'm like 2 minutes from my job right now, like maybe 10 minutes at most, given like busier traffic days. But you want me to drive another 30 minutes, take less money, but this is called a promotion? Like, I just, like, I don't understand it though, but yeah, man, like, it was fucking hard. Like, people didn't know about it. And then I told people about it, they were trying to be like, oh, well, I would have done this. You should have done this. Listen, when you're in that fucking situation, then you go ahead and do all those cowboy shit you want to fucking do. But when someone's got that gun there and you're being told what to fucking do, and you're like, you don't know what to do in that moment, you fucking panic. You're lucky that, because the two guys that had the guns weren't the ones that worried me. It was the third guy, the fourth guy that actually appeared. I didn't see him because they already had me telling me what to do. And he's over there making all these weird, giving like real antsy. Like, he made me the most nervous because he was freaking out over there. Hurry up, let's go. He's like waving the gun. I'm like, oh shit, this guy's going to shoot one of us. I swear to God, dude.
Yeah.
The other two I wouldn't worry about. It's the guy over here that's literally that, but yeah, man, it fucked me up bad. Like, I didn't ever think I was going to be okay again, because the fucking night terrors alone were just fucking horrible, because you just get that feeling. You wake up and then like screaming out of your sleep, like, like you think somebody's fucking murdering you. It was the hardest thing ever, man. And it's like, I didn't tell a lot of people at first, because like, but now I do. I tell people all the time, like, I've been robbed at gunpoint. You think this is a fucking joke? Let me tell you, when somebody comes in here and takes that money from you, because the people prior to us always have like large amounts of money, and they're like, you need to be very careful with what you're doing. You don't realize what people are doing. A lot of these people are looking over the counter. You're not watching them. And if you're not watching them, you wouldn't know they're doing these things. Like, and I tell my guys now, I'm like, whatever you do, I said, if every so often take a lap around, make sure you notice what cars are sitting there. If something there is sitting out of the ordinary, tell me, let me know, because I'll call the cops and have them go out there and check them, because we're not having this situation. Luckily, we're lucky, because a lot of the local cops will come through. And where we're at, we're like a central hub for a lot of different departments that come through in the county and things like that too. But it was fucking horrible, man. Like, oh, God, dude, I never thought I was ever going to be okay again, because when I went in the store, like I said, I was so fucking paranoid. I almost drove myself crazy a few times, because that's all I could think about is that door. And the minute that door opened, I'd go into a fucking panic mode. Like, I thought somebody's going to come running through that door. And it could have just been some kids running the door. Small. It could have just been anything like that. It was just fucking insane. Like, it's like, and it was like, it was hard, man. It fucked me up bad. Like, I still think it kind of fucks me up a little bit, because like, I don't go back to that moment anymore, but I remember it. I tell people about it, but it's just still painful to tell people about because it's just rough, It's like, it's tough to say. Like, like, fuck, I had funnier situations where Homeland Security pulled my ass over one time. That shit was funny, but this situation was like, it fucked you up, and people don't realize, like, how bad it is.
Yeah. I know you said everything kind of felt like slow motion. How long do you think the whole robbery lasted?
About 5-10 minutes at most, honestly, because it was like, once they realized the safe wasn't going to open, they just like opened the fucking drawer. And the other guy, like I said, he was trying to figure out what to do. And he stole a box of cigarettes because he couldn't figure out how to open the doors, which were right in front of him. So it saved like 5-10 minutes because, you got to be careful in case you don't know if somebody pressed a silent alarm or something like that, So they knew what they were doing.
Yeah. Because
apparently they hit a few places prior to us and a few places after us before then nobody caught them because they were still going, They came and they were out the door real fast, and after that moment, it's like when the cops come to us, they're already heading on to the next spot because at their point they're diverted here and they were hitting other locations after us too of other stuff along the way is what they were saying.
Yeah. Besides HR, did you get like other help like therapy or just your podcast?
No, if I remember right, I don't think they offered it. I think they offered it to me, and I just wasn't sure if I was ready for it or not at that time because I was just so terrified. Like I could barely sleep, and I couldn't think straight. I think somebody should have told me to go to therapy before I came back. At least talk to somebody to make sure I was okay. And I feel like that's where a lot of these workplaces fail is that they don't worry about people's mental health enough. But I mean, like I said, the HR lady was really cool though, man. She came and called and checked on me a few days later to make sure I was doing okay. And hats off to her. She was really awesome, but it was fucking rough, dude. I didn't, but I should have. Honestly, I should have because it was like I wasn't okay for like another year after that. I was just fucked up every time I went to that store because I requested to move to another one because I couldn't be there anymore because I was going to drive myself crazy staring at that back door.
Has this experience changed the way you think about safety?
Oh, 100%. Like I said, I teach my guys now. Like I have 2 young guys I work with now. And I told, at first I had mostly females at first. And I was telling them, I said, like we worked out a system like, hey, listen, if you come into trouble, just say my name really loud and I'll know what that means, like, and they were prettier girls, so, we know how this goes. These guys come in probably drunk and all these other things. Cause, we all like to act like idiots and we don't know how to talk to women these days and start like hitting on them and they feel uncomfortable. But I teach all my guys now and I teach everybody else the same thing. Like, the things that you need to know. It's like, I'm telling you from experience right now that you don't want this to happen. You seem to think you want a bit, but you don't want this to happen to you because you don't want it to fuck you up. And then worst case scenario goes, you end up taking your life because you can't handle what you're dealing with, because some people just aren't equipped to handle that kind of shit,
Is there any advice that you would give somebody if they were ever put in this situation?
You know what? I'm just going to tell you right now, it's going to sound like bullshit, but you just stay as calm as possible, man. Understand that your objective is to get them out of there as fast as possible. Don't argue with them. Don't say nothing to them. Just yes, sir, no, sirs. The typical things they train you to do, like, just keep your cool. And then afterwards, if you break down, that's fine because it's a lot of adrenaline rushing because you don't know what they're going to do, and you don't want to upset them. You don't want to fight with them. You just want to give them what they want and get them the hell out of there as fast as possible.
Yeah, no, we were told here at this company, if they come up to you, give them the car. Who gives a shit? You just give them the car and then go from there.
I love it.
Yeah, give them the car. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. The place I work at now is like that too. Like you can't stop them because we're not a hero. Cool. Yeah. I agree with you. I'm not a hero. You don't pay me enough to take a bullet for you. Sorry.
Right. I think we're coming towards the end, my boy. My ass needs to get to church, and but really quick, there's one story that I wanted to get out of.
Oh you. Yeah.
The wood chopping lady story, bro. What's up with the wood chopping lady, man? What? I have to make it from a very serious topic to like emotional conversation to let's get a laugh out of this and go from there, man.
Oh my fucking God. So Andy, this lady comes on my show. We're having a great interview, okay? tell me why 30 minutes, like 25 minutes into this conversation, she automatically turns to this archaic thinking of, well, the man should be the breadwinner, the woman should stay home, and if you don't chop enough wood, you're not a man.
What?
And she's like trying to tell me that because I don't chop enough wood, that I'm not a man. In my own studio, this one's insulting me.
What episode number is this?
I didn't publish this episode because you know, I was just like, I told somebody about it, and they're like, "Oh my god, did you cancel the?" No, I was like, "No, I decided to keep riding this thing out because I wanted to see what's up." But it was going great all the way up to this point. Had a great conversation going. We're talking about what, you know, her new way of thinking, that she went from, you know, a corporate lawyer to where she's now, and she has this archaic thinking that men have to chop a lot of wood because that's what makes you man. So all these manly. I'm just like, no. I'm thinking, but no, that's not what we're. Why are we teaching them that? What?
I mean, in my mind, I feel like as the man of the house, I need to pay most of the bills, and because
and I get that,
you know what I mean, like, but the wife, I try to limit how much she pays around the house, because to me it's like I'm keeping a roof over our heads, she's feeding us, you know what I mean, she buys the laundry detergent, and she pays for our phones, and she feeds us. I don't want to take money I don't want to take money from her account for other stuff when that money's supposed to be to feed us. So that's no, my wife has a fucking job.
The archaic thinking though to her was that your wife would technically stay home and not have a job because she was the homemaker. Which I'm like, that doesn't work in today's society with the way everything is.
You know how stressful it was that my wife didn't have a job for 7 fucking years, and that's not because she didn't want to work. That's because I got full custody of the kids, and I was like, think about it. I'm gonna go to work to only pay a sitter. There's 3 kids, Andy. I'm like, she's got a point, dude. There was days that I sat on the kitchen table fucking crying, crying instead of drinking, because I was like, fuck, how am I going to catch up on these bills? And my wife's always told me, we'll figure it out. And I was like, what the fuck you talking about? The numbers say different, And no, we always fucking figured it out. And now with 2 incomes, I'm like, no, my wife's chopping wood for sure, bro.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, how are you going to come tell me to chop wood that makes me that identifies me as a man? Because I told her I'm more in tune with my feelings because I raised 3 girls for a couple of years, and I had to be in tune with feelings that these, women obviously feel things differently than men do. So I had to understand their perspective of things, and they're becoming young ladies versus just being little girls anymore. And she told me that you know what it is, I need to go chop a bunch of wood because that'll make me feel more manly. Literally what she's telling me in this, I'm just like, and I'm keeping a straight face the whole time thinking, the nerve of this fucking person to come in my studio and tell me that I'm not a man because I understand people's feelings on a different perspective is fucking asinine. Like, what? And I was telling people this, I was like, I got to tell you this. So this interview, and everybody's like, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, that's what I said too. Like, I'm like, what? A great conversation thrown away because you're telling me I don't chop enough fucking wood. I'm like, what? I guess I got to go outside and start chopping wood. So I kept telling people, I'm like, well, I got to go outside and chop wood. I got to do my man training. Because if not, I'm not going to feel manly enough today or something. I kept thinking these jokes.
I mean, shit. I started knocking down some trees in the backyard, and I had help. My brother was here, fucking helping me knock these shit down. I can't do it myself.
Oh no, you got to do it yourself. Okay, that was what you said. You got to go and chop the wood yourself. Okay, you can't have any help now. That's not manly enough.
No,
but bro, that fucking made me laugh so goddamn fucking hard. I was like, God. I'm done. I'm like, this shit is hard to just make up this fucking story. Like, I get weird people on the show. Like Holly's episode where she just we were going to talk about what she does, went to her whole story for 56 minutes. I was like, yeah, I got to tap out. I got to walk away from this. And we didn't even talk about what I do. You guys will hear it in the episode. She says, well, we didn't get a chance to talk about what I do right now because this story you just told us is like the number 3 craziest fucking story ever told between these 4 walls. Like, what do you mean? You just took me on an emotional roller coaster. Like, you verbally abused me, but you didn't mean to, like, fuck, man. But it's like, I enjoy it though, man. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy the show. I love doing it. Like I said, I had an awarding British cartoonist come on recently. Like I was telling you a little bit about that, these emails I get about these people. I did get another one on that I took a shot, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna message her. She was actually on Showtime, HBO, and a few other big platforms, including ESPN. But she's a coach as well. And then I did a panel recently. A month or 2 ago, where I met an Emmy award-winning life coach, And I got a bunch of those interesting people too. I've met in those little summit get-togethers where I'm on a panel where I have a 2-time Emmy-winning director is introducing me as a panel member.
Nice.
You know, like I've done some interesting things since the last time we talked. You know, since September, I've been in 2 panels actually, because I did one in October, and then I did one recently in February for the same people that we that hosted it the last time, and we had the same woman sitting there with just the 2 Emmys just chilling, just like it's nothing. So, but I will tell you all this, that I did have a 2-time Emmy-winning producer also reach out to be on the show. And there's a few other tasty little ones that are coming down the line that I'm not going to tell you about, but you have to listen to watch out for them because, you know, and then season 4 is going to probably take place somewhere in July, which I've been picking new artists to be the intro song. So this season's is actually one more time by my good friend Note. He's a younger guy, but he does like pop rock. Next season is actually going to be a Christian rapper guy who talks about mental health in his songs. So that one, we'll get to meet him too. And we're going to get him on the show as well, so everybody can meet him and get a little feel for who he is. But he's going to be season 4's. I'll give you the artist for season 4, basically. And then we'll get Andy on the fucking show because I was crying, you know what I'm saying?
It's about fucking time, bro. I've only been asking for the past 2 fucking years.
No, man. But no, listen, man. I love hanging out with you, bro. The minute you said, hey, you want to come back on, I was like, fuck yeah, let's go, bro.
Hey,
it's always great to come
my
see you.
podcast is not a one and done, guys. If you've been on it before, you are welcome again. My only rule is let's not copy same stories. Let's not repeat stories. So that's my only thing.
Yeah, man. I had a 4-time returning guest, Melissa Kim Corder, show up this season too. It was great. She's like, oh great. She literally says, bro, in the beginning of the episode, she goes, oh great, I got a title now. I'm like you should be excited. We're in the record holder having the most appearances on this goddamn podcast in the year and a half it's existed. Okay.
There you go. Well, again, start. You know, can you give us a quick little intro or bio of your podcast? Shoot out your socials. Shoot out podcast number, titles. Shoot out everything really quick before we let you go.
Awesome. Well, Pete vs. Anxiety, a mental health podcast, you know, breaking the stigma that mental health is talked about enough, guys. You can find me wherever you find your podcast at. Spotify, all the way down to Pandora Radio. I'm on X, all the way down to TikTok. All that great stuff like that. You can go to PeteVersusAnxiety.com. If you want to be on the show, send me an email. I promise you I get your emails. Just bear with me. I'm a one-man show at this point, guys. And as I always say, don't ask how your day is. Say, hey, how's your mental health? Okay, guys? Because if we don't start asking now, the number's just going to keep going.
I like it, bro. Real quick, this episode was sponsored by SolarX Insurance. Fast, friendly, and affordable coverage. Need an SR22? They can help. Ride a motorcycle? Covered. Already have insurance? They have options. SolarX helps all drivers no matter the situation. Call 877-736-4719. That's 877-736-4719 and get back on the road with confidence. Hit up my boy Juan. He's waiting for your calls. Pete, thanks again.
Definitely,
this is not going to be the last episode you're ever on. You can come back. The more I listen to your podcast, the more content I get, and I will bring you back.
Oh yeah, sounds good. Like, I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I love it when people listen to it. I just hit 17,000 downloads. I'm averaging about 1,500 a month now. It's crazy to see where the numbers went from where it is to there, you know?
Look at this guy. Whatever.
By the way, in case you're not watching any video version of this, Andy's showing the jealousy over there because, you know, he just can't keep up with the numbers. Whatever, I'm sorry, you know, three drops a week, you know, X them up or fucking
whatever, dude. You know what I mean? Hey, at least I number my podcast episodes. Ooh, God.
But everybody, watch out for Andy because he'll be on the show. I promise. We'll get him on. We'll pick his brain a little more, you know, and things like that too, you know. But yeah, like I loved it, man. I always love coming on here, man. This is the highlight of my morning. I've been up all night, dude. I've been so fucking amped to come on this thing all night.
I know. I saw you on freaking TikTok yesterday. I'm like, dude, fucker, what time are you going to come on mine, dude? And you actually hit me up before I woke you up, so I appreciate that. But again, Pete, thank you for coming. Thank you for waking up early or not even fucking sleeping for this. And like I end every podcast, thank you for riding with me. That's it. This guy was supposed to say thank you. Nothing. Let's try that again. And like I end every podcast, Pete, thank you for riding with me.
You want me to say that? Thank you for riding with me?
No, this guy. This is going to go on the bloopers. All right, guys. Later.
Yeah, definitely, dude. We got to do the bloopers because this shit's hilarious. Oh, my God, bro. Like,
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast.
You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.